We should have acted sooner. We should have seen the way things were moving. Much has changed since 2013. A year which many considered to be the beginning of our downfall, of the nation and of the world. A grim reminder to a time long since gone. Although no one wanted to admit it, in the year 2013 our everyday lives were changing. With the triple dip recession we faced, unemployment at an all-time high, and protests and riots being a common occurrence, we never paid full attention to what was happening in our high streets. Oh, sure, we dragged ourselves slowly out of recession to a partially stable situation, but things never recovered the way they were before the financial crisis. Walking down the street, you were oblivious to the major names and brands that surrounded you. We had become institutionalized, and the institution was about to change.
Money being scarce was the catalyst as to why these major stores went into administration and eventually closed, but it was really the boom of the online system that delivered the final blow to the high street. Cheaper prices and the ability to browse and buy your goods with ease from your own home soon became the popular and practiced custom. With the economy being as it was, stores could not compete against their online counterparts, and one by one fell. Oh, it wasn't just the major names. Food stores, bars, restaurants, off-licenses, family-owned businesses, everything was slowly extinguished. No one cared about the people that lost their jobs or livelihoods, and of course the workers had no say otherwise. I mean, why would they? People were making a profit online, things were cheaper. People's best interests and charity no longer existed.
Over the next couple of decades, it wasn't only food and entertainment that people depended and relied upon from the online system, but also social activities. With the increasing popularity of social networking and the updated systems that followed after Facebook, it became possible for a person to have no reason to even leave their house at all. Everything was available online. This online system soon became implemented on a wide-scale basis and spread overseas to universal acclaim. With added influence from foreign expertise, the online system was updated and made bigger and more prominent than ever before, allowing people to even get jobs and make a career on multiple packages that were offered by the system. People could now work from home on widely available job opportunities, making a wage on simple work that was in high demand. Very soon the public became the slave labour of the site's prosperity, helping run and create new programs within the system. To this day, people have no reasons to leave their homes, what with the domineering online system and the government's imposed curfew.
After witnessing the public's dependency on the system, the government found a way to make this work to their advantage. The country was essentially running itself, oblivious to what was going on outside their own four walls, making it very easy for the government to slip legislation through without no public outcry or opposition, and the government liked this. With decades of no human contact, the environment had time to heal itself. Global warming was no longer an issue. Endangered species were no longer endangered. The planet had been saved. The government had found their justification to maintain and enforce the continued public use of the system.
Of course, there were and are people who are against the online system and try to live our lives free from it. The penalty for breaking the curfew or going against the online system is to be taken to a hidden base and brainwashed, like everyone else, into the system. Or perhaps, more mercifully than that, merely death. Of course no one notices, no one cares. Why would they?
The online system is heavily guarded, maintained, advanced and adapted. Everything is under surveillance.
Of course this makes it nearly impossible for our resistance to communicate with each other and see our plan become a reality. We are working on implementing a virus into the system with the hopes of permanently disabling it. However, whenever we near completion, the system detects it and adapts and evolves its security system, and our location is broadcast. My location has been broadcast. If this virus is complete, do we activate it? Times have changed and billions of people now rely on it as much as oxygen. Do we run the risk of ending billions of lives in order to usher in a new existence? Do we risk indirectly killing people in order for others to live? Do we live?
This is the story of how I took on the challenge of having no food for more than 24 hours. As I feel that I take food for granted with the amount I eat and do not realise that millions of people have no food. I want to put myself in their shoes for a day and to see the effect it would have on me. The first thing I did in the morning when I woke up was to go and weigh myself, because I wanted to see how much I weighed in the morning, then compare it to afterwards once I'd finished to see whether there was any difference. On the day of the challenge I was terrified, as I've never had to go without food for more than a few hours. I began the day as normal with the exception of no breakfast apart from a large cup of tea, which I hoped would fill me up and keep me going for a few hours. The hardest part of this challenge for me was being surrounded by food and not being able to have any was torture, especially at dinner time, as all I could do is watch my family have food whilst I had a cup of tea. Seeing the amount of food we eat in one meal was shocking, as I feel the amount of food we had enough to feed 6 people, and yet it only fed 3 of us. So far I found this challenge quite hard so far this morning, because I've not been able to eat food, because normally before I play sport I normally have quite a lot of food, like a lot of carbs to keep me going, because I find it helps me. So now I'm going to just play a bit of tennis and see whether it affects my normal game. Hopefully not, because I'm quite competitive and I might get a bit angry, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I've just finished my tennis session, and I think this diet is definitely affecting my game, and because as you would have seen, I just wasn't playing very well at all, and I think that's just mainly due because I just feel like I've got no energy. But now I know how people in Africa have to deal with it, but as I should actually be grateful for the amount of food I can have, and I don't have to think about it. Overall, I feel the challenge was a success, and I managed to get through 30 hours without any food, which I'm very proud of. Also, it's made me realise how lucky I am to have so much food available to me at any time I want.
¿Todo bien? Muy bien. Veo que vienes con los zapatos.